Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Trilogy on Nintendo Switch. This is a collection of the first 3 games, but we'll be focusing on the very first game in order to minimize spoilers. Originally released exclusively on Japan on the Game Boy Advance, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney was then re-released on the Nintendo DS, which is where it made its English language debut. It's since been re-released on iOS, the Nintendo 3DS, and finally has reached current-gen consoles, with this package, which is due to be released on PlayStation 4, Steam, and of course, Nintendo Switch. This is coming out in English today by the time this video is out, but it's been available in Japan for a while, and if you import a physical copy, it even has an English language option, which is great for collectors. Diving straight into the comparison, I'd like to take some time to focus on the issues with the iOS port. The iOS release is generally considered to be quite a rough version of the game. The pixel art of the originals was replaced with this really sharp, almost poorly drawn art, and it's missing a lot of scene transitions and character animations. It also seems to run at a very low frame rate in comparison to the Nintendo DS original. It's really not great. If we look at the menus here, for example, you can immediately notice an issue. The text is way too sharp, exhibits noticeable artifacts, and the art in the background also features incredibly jagged edges. I was worried then that we were going to be looking at something equally poor on the Switch. Thankfully, this has been totally replaced in the Switch version. You get a crisp, new menu which animates nicely and overall looks much more polished and professional. The art in the background looks a lot better too. Let's head into a 3-way comparison between the Nintendo DS, iOS, and Nintendo Switch version. This is the opening cutscene of the game, and you'll immediately notice that the iOS version is actually quite out of sync with the DS and Switch version. It also animates at a noticeably lower frame rate. The smooth scrolling text and statue are really jerky on iOS. The transition as the camera cuts to Cindy's body is also missing here on iOS. It's just a straight cut from black, unlike the gradual fade present in the other versions. Moving into actual gameplay, the difference is quite noticeable again. The animation on iOS is just incredibly jerky, and the sprites and text appear just too sharp. Notice Mr. Sawit's mouth moves less on iOS in comparison to the other platforms. An example of missing animations can also be seen in this scene with Mia. On iOS, she doesn't blink at all, she just stares unendingly into the player's eyes. This is fine. Objection! Overall, I think Mr. Wright himself sums up the iOS version best. If we cut iOS from the comparisons then, we can see that the new Switch version syncs up much more closely with the original DS release. Although it has ditched the pixel art, the new art doesn't have the same ugly jagged artifacts that were present on the iOS release, and it has noticeably smooth animation on text and camera adjustments. It's a much more faithful update for sure. A lot of the animation that was cut from the iOS release is back here. Notice for example, this blink looks so smooth again on the Switch version. I would say maybe the only real downgrade is the change in text box rendering. Opaque boxes from the DS original have been replaced by fully opaque checkered boxes, and while it does look quite sleek, it actually covers up the art in some instances. So what's new then? Well, apart from the menu displayed earlier, the Switch version also features quite a detailed options menu to let you tweak the game to your liking. There's also been a slight change to the way screen flashes are rendered. While in the original DS and iOS releases, the screen flashing is pure white. They've been toned down and made grey here, as you can see in this slowed down clip. It's a minor change, but it's likely to help those with certain conditions play the game easier. Ace Attorney also makes really good use of the Switch's hardware when undocked. Of course, it supports handheld play, with the Joy-Cons attached as a regular controller, but it also includes touchscreen support, and you can even remove the Joy-Cons from the console completely and play with just the tablet. A neat addition for those looking to curl up and relax with it somewhere. Overall then, this seems like a great package. While it would have been nice to see an option for the original pixel art, scaled correctly to nearest neighbor, it's great to see that these games have been updated since the rather rough iOS port. This feels like a collection that truly deserves the HD moniker, and the presentation is perfectly suitable for playing on the Switch's handheld screen or a big TV. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We read every single comment, and it's great to hear your feedback. Till next time.